Hey guys, it's Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that help me build up a sizable rent portfolio in about 2 years and now manage that portfolio. Today, guys, I want to talk about mistakes that we made, I specifically, in 2023 last year, and what we're doing to make those improvements for 2024. I think everybody talks about all the great things they've done. I share a lot of our KPIs, and I'm very transparent about that. But I think another way to teach and another way for you guys that you guys need to think about is, and to be relatable, right? Like, we're not perfect. And how you respond, anybody can honor their guarantees and honor things when things are going well. It's how you respond in times of crisis or when things are not going your way that you really see a company's character. So I want to talk about the mistakes we made, improvements we're making for 2024 and beyond. Before I get into that, if you guys like this or enjoy this content, share with somebody that might find value in it. Like, subscribe, it helps us out. This is free. It's always going to be free and really appreciate it. So, mistakes in 2024 or 2023. Now, these are the biggest ones. I make a mistake every single day. You know, these are the big cataclysmic ones that cost a lot of money for us. So, we had a tenant we placed in a property that didn't meet the qualifications. Can you believe that? How stupid that is? Insanely dumb. So dumb. I can go on and on about why it happened. We know we did an after action review in AAR. We figured it out. We found out what the issue was. We pinpointed it. However, this tenant got in there. They had an identity thing that we did not verify, and it was in their employment. This tenant got in there, and then they back charged or reversed, basically claimed all their payments as fraud. So they got in, everything looked good. They made their first month's rent. They paid their security deposit. And I think they made like 1 or 2 more payments. Then all of a sudden, they reversed everything. And I mean, the first month's rent, security deposit, they reversed it all. You contact them. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, because I learned this last year in a frantic panic when like $8,000 or $9,000 worth of rent was gone. Buildium did nothing. So I can tell you right now, if you guys are taking electronic payments, and I've learned this in Appfolios the same way. I don't know about all the other property management softwares, but I assume they're all the same. They can't do anything. The only thing you as a property manager can do is, and maybe I ought to do another video on this. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but basically you got to file an eviction and get them out. So this dirt bag, about $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, whatever it was worth of rent, reversed it. And then we had to start an eviction process like 3 months after they're in. What did we do? Well, again, we made the mistake. Normally, we offer a guarantee about eviction protection and tenant placement guarantees and stuff like that. But in this instance, we made a mistake on our screening and qualifications. So what did we do? We stroked a check to the owner for all the lost rent and all the expenses that owner bared over that time. So it was like $10,000 to $12,000 that we cut in a check to this owner because we made a mistake. So period, flat out, we talked to the owner. He was super nice about everything, but I told him that we were going to stroke this check whether he decided to stay with us or not. I would be furious if I was him. I said, I totally understand if you want to leave. We made a mistake. We're going to own it. I'm going to stroke you this check. This is not contingent upon you staying. I'm stroking you this check because we made a mistake. If you want to stay, great. If not, no big deal. He stayed. He's still with us today. Property got turned around. We got leased in like another 3 weeks after that. Thank God they didn't do a bunch of damage to the property, but we paid him everything. The rekey, the lost rent, the eviction charges. Like I said, it was like $10,000 to $12,000. So that was an expensive one. I didn't really like that one. But again, we made a mistake. This happens. So you can't overlook things. And again, I can go on and on why it happened, but it happened. So what are we doing differently? We have, to make sure that doesn't happen again, we have some quality QA/QC, quality assurance, quality controls. We also have, we brought leasing in-house. So this is strictly an in-house leasing company. Now, we used to leverage outside agents. I'll talk about that in another mistake here, but now we have that in-house. So this should not happen going forward. We've got, like I said, a few other checks and balances in our processes. Okay, the second one, we left the water on out of property. Now, that is a big thing here in Texas because when it gets cold or you have freezing temperatures, some attics don't have insulation. They have very poor ventilation. They might be wide open and you have exposed water lines through the attic. Heat gets shut off, something happens, pipe burst. We had it happen in 2021 and it was horrendous. So one of our processes is anytime the property is vacant, I don't give a shit if it's summer or winter, we go in and we shut the water off. And that makes it so that, unfortunately, agents who don't know any better still piss and shit in the toilets. So that creates some interesting findings. But we will never have, when we shut the water off, we will never have a burst pipe. Again, like I mentioned, we had an outside agent that we trusted that we were using to go to the properties. And one of their, it's the same process that we use for us, but we hold our agents to that same standard. And one of their steps is make sure the water is shut off. Do you think that agent did this? No. We have it in there. They marked it as completed, that they had to actually shut the water off. So we went to the agent and said, you screwed up. And they said, yeah, no, hey, we screwed up. We're going to take full financial responsibility or full responsibility. We said, okay, it's $2,500 to tear out the drywall and get all that put back together. Thank God we caught it soon and it was okay. What do you mean financial responsibility? So what did Emerson do? Emerson stroked the check to the owner to fix the drywall, patch the plumbing, and get it all good. Again, owner was super pissed off. Rightfully so. And I told the owner, just as I told the previous owner, we're going to stroke a check. We're going to make it right. You're not going to have to pay a dime for that. And if you want to leave, I totally understand. We don't have any long-term contracts. It's a month-to-month agreement. So I guess for y'all, and this is something we changed. So now, again, I mentioned before, we brought leasing in-house. So we are the ones walking the property. Our people are the ones walking the property. So I know there's a little bit more level of control there than somebody else going out and saying they've done something. Now, I will say that the agent said they were going to cut us a check, and I'm still waiting on that check, but I have been told it is in the mail for us. But whether they pay us or not, we have already made it right with the owner. So, and how does that matter for y'all? I mean, again, you'll see this theme throughout this process or throughout me talking through these things. We make mistakes, but we own up to them. So if your company has made a mistake, or if you have made a mistake, are you owning up to it? Are your vendors owning up to it? Are your partners owning up to it? That's something that I think is super important. Again, I mentioned anybody can, when rent's coming in and there's no maintenance and repairs and ACs are working and hot water's working, anybody can manage a property. It's in times of adversity where you really see the true colors. So the next one, we hired a new vendor who apparently was a big shot, thought he was big time, had worked with property managers in the past. We hired him doing a handful of jobs, and then it came to find out that he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And it came too late. By the time he had done that, he was doing really, really stupid things with plumbing and tile and various other things I can't really talk about because we're in litigation with him. Shocker. So again, we hired that individual. He did a very piss poor job at best. And who stroked the check? We stroked the check. Emerson cut the check to make that owner whole, get the issues fixed. And now we're suing the vendor to get the money back. So the owner did not have to worry about the money. We are going after that vendor because we had the agreement with them. We signed the agreement with them and we contracted them for the work. So we're going after that vendor to make sure that we get the funds, but we stroked the check for the owner to get that fixed. That property's fixed. Actually, we were supposed to have somebody move in last week. So things happen. We're making it right. I think these lessons these are the most expensive lessons of the past year. Now, what are we doing next year and beyond, or something that maybe if you're looking at another property management company, you might want to ask them is when you bring on a new vendor, one, how long have your vendors been there? Now we have vendors that have been here 10 years, but we were growing, so we wanted to add new vendors. What does the vendor onboarding process look like? What does the vendor oversight look like? That's a new thing for us. So now we have 30, 60, 90-day requirements that we're watching our vendors through. So that's a big, big thing now, something we didn't have before because we had a couple guys that I had trusted worked on my properties and then it became too much. So we have to hire more people. And it's an expensive mistake, but it was a good one. The last one, agents placing tenants, specifically owners agents. So we've had a handful of owners who, and I was a dumbass and agreed to this in the beginning, but we had a handful of owners who came over and said, hey, I'm going to lead, or an agent referral. An agent comes in, an owner, I'm working with this agent or agent, hey, I'm going to refer you this client. And then the client says, okay, cool. I want Mr. or Mrs. Agent to lease this property every time. I was a dumbass in the beginning thinking that wasn't going to be a problem. It became a serious problem. So what was happening is these agents were wanting to just list the property and then have us screen them and move the tenant in and do all the work. But we were having all these issues because we're not building a relationship with the agent. The agent's just sticking the sign in the yard and doing showings. Then they kick them over to us, and then the agent was getting the lease fee. And it was a lot of convoluted and stepping on toes and who's collecting this and how are we paying this. So, and also we have a lot of guarantees, right? We have our tenant placement guarantee. We have our 30-day lease guarantee. We have the eviction protection because we're screening the tenants. Some of these agents were screening with Zillow or God knows who or what, or very little. We had an owner who had a friend who was leasing the property, a friend who did real estate part-time. I don't even know if that person ever closed any freaking transactions. So what we said is going forward, and again, this was creating some tenant issues with the tenant because there might have been some communication from that agent on what we're going to do, and it wasn't true. Or we didn't clearly communicate to that agent what they were supposed to do, and things were getting dropped. So we said, okay, enough's enough. When you hand the property to us, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, you can lease the property. I don't care who leases the property. We're not going to offer you any of our guarantees. But once we have control of that property, we control the lease, the rent, the rent prices, the leasing, the renewals, everything until you either terminate management or you offboard or you sell. And if you sell and an agent brings you to us to sell, we will hand that property back to the agent for the sale. We're not trying to steal the sale. And, people get kind of crappy, some of those agents, but it was creating a lot of issues. And I don't know if you are working with a property management company, they allow that, but I can tell you there's a lot of quality control issues with that. And again, people stepping on each other's toes for tenant move-ins and whatnot. We use this same process. It keeps us out of, issues with fair housing federally. TREC, the Texas Association Realtor or Texas Real Estate Commission, it keeps us out of all that stuff because we do the exact same thing every which way. And we have less than a 1% eviction rate. We got a 99% rent collection rate. Majority of our issues come from somebody else that was placed. Somebody else placed the tenant, not Emerson. So that's why we do it. Okay, y'all, just a quick recap. We placed a tenant that didn't meet the qualifications, cut an owner about $10,000 to $12,000. We brought leasing in-house, so that's not going to happen anymore. We left the water on a property. If your property management company is not shutting the water off on your vacancies, have them do that now. Mention that to them, please, because it is a lot of money and it is low risk for them to turn a valve. Make sure they do that. Again, we're bringing leasing in-house, so this isn't going to happen again. Vendor with no oversight. We brought on a vendor. They screwed up some stuff. We paid the owner to get that stuff done out of our pocket, and then we are suing that vendor. And now we have milestones, oversight throughout the first few months with a new vendor. Agents placing the tenants, owners, agents, friends, family, whoever placing the tenants are doing renewals and getting involved in the leasing process. Again, it created a lot of headaches. We are no longer allowing that. Once an owner hands us the property, it's ours until they sell or terminate management. And again, look at your property management company. Maybe there's some mistakes that they've made. They might not be owning up to. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. Who knows? But these were very difficult conversations to have with our owners. And I can tell you that actually all of these owners but one from the mistakes we made are still with us because of how we handled that situation. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. I appreciate y'all.